Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we discuss on the latest stories. We start with President Laporta, who in a recent interview he talks about Xavi, Joao Felix, Cancelo, Ansu Fati, Eric Garcia after deadline day deals. We are going to discuss on that as we progress. Secondly, talking about Vitor Roque, we are going to discuss on how the future Barcelona star cannot stop scoring for his current club. He's in red hot form. We are also going to discuss more on that. So as we get right into it, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona completed the summer transfer window in an emphatic fashion, bringing in Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix, while sanctioning the exit of many stars. Speaking to Gerard Romero after the deadline day, Joan Laporta talked about Barcelona's new signings and their activity in the transfer market. Of course, he said, "We are very proud of our new signings. We have a team of top professionals that worked very hard to make everything happen. And the agent of these two players was a massive help for us as well." Laporta is referring to deadline day deals for Felix and Cancelo, both of whom joined the club on a loan deal in the final hours of the transfer window. He said, "Of course, we needed to sign big name players. This is the transfer market. You negotiate with empathy and you reach agreements," he said. The addition of Felix could go a long way in helping Barcelona add quality in the final third, whereas Cancelo would become an automatic first choice right back. Laporta labeled the transfer window a success. He said, "I have a feeling that this was a historic night. We have a team to compete very well. I'm sure Xavi will be very happy with these signings." Finally, Laporta talked about the departing players on deadline day, adding that the exit of Ansu Fati and Eric Garcia was a good thing for both players. He said, "This was the best option or the best solution for those players like Eric and Ansu, who will get more playing time on loan. I'm happy for them." Garcia joined Girona on loan deal, whereas Fati was loaned out to Brighton. Two maneuvers that were key in helping Barcelona sign Felix and Cancelo. Of course, things worked very well towards the end of that window. We saw players leaving, even though some were shocking, like that of Ansu, who went to Brighton. But at the end of the day, it might still be a blessing in disguise, helping us to get these other good players like Cancelo and Felix. Of course, we can see Laporta in that interview expressing his joy onto how the window ended. Because honestly, we can't say the window was a bad one. It was a good window. It was a good window, especially after concluding it in a huge way. Of course, bringing in the two draws on deadline day, which was Barca's long-term target for a long time. And of course, I think we just have the squad now to say, look, we need to compete. We need to improve our performance. Like, for instance, what we saw yesterday against Osasuna was not something that I can say we are proud of. We still have a lot to improve because I think the matches that we have played so far this season have not been the best. Even though the results keep coming on our way, we have won 3 consecutive games in La Liga after the first disappointing draw against Getafe on match day 1. But we see that the team still lacks a lot of rhythm. But with deadline day, which passed some few days back, we saw us concluding it in a strong fashion. We hope that the new acquisitions will keep adapt. In fact, they will quickly adapt to the team and help the team to perform better, and we can see their impact right away. Of course, deadline day saw late acquisitions of Felix and Cancelo, 2 top quality players, who I think if they are in their A game, they can change this thing. Right back, for instance, was a position that have always been a weakness for Barca for quite a long time. Since Dani Alves left, we have never had a top quality right back. We have had some kind of, I don't know, the kind of players who have had right backs, and you ask yourself, is Barca even serious? Are we a big team? the likes of Sergio Des, Nelson Semedo. So Hector Bellerin came and was just sold immediately after very poor performances. Sergio Roberto, all those guys are not players that you can say they should be Barca right backs, you know. And I think Cancelo is the the biggest name to have been a Barca right back since Alves left in his first spell in 2016. And of course, I hope that Cancelo will do far better, will do well as we expect. We can see the levels that he had at Man City. What a quality right back he is. And it's going to be very good to see him come back to that level, because if that's the case, we are going to enjoy every bit of Cancelo. Then also talking about Felix, a player where when he's in his top form, he's so dangerous. And of course, Barca signed him for a reason. Even though from the onset, Xavi was not in favor of the move, but Xavi had no choice. Laporta was a huge fan. In fact, Laporta is a huge fan, and due to the good relationship he has with Josh Mendes, it greatly helped the player to join Barcelona. So let's see how those two new signings will do, as we hope that they quickly adapt to the team dynamics. Then moving on to the final story of discussion, in the midst of all the drama on transfer deadline day surrounding Cancelo and Joao Felix, one can be forgiven for missing out on the thought that Barca also have Vitor Roque joining the club very soon. On that front, there is a good news for Barca fans, isn't it? The Atletico Paranaense star has been scoring goals for fun in his native Brazil. In a recent game against Atletico Mineiro, Vitor Roque scored a brilliant equalizer to help his side secure a 1-1 draw. It was a beautiful goal from the young Brazilian, who expertly got in behind the opposition defensive line to produce a sensational finish. Although Atletico Paranaense are nowhere near the top end of the league table, Vitor Roque has been quite unstoppable this season. The youngster has scored 20 goals in all competitions this season, 11 of which has come in the Brazilian top flight. He has scored 3 goals in the last 3 matches. Vitor Roque's performances in front of goal have been critical in helping his team contending for top 4 finish. At the same time, the 18-year-old has solidified his case for being considered for the Brazilian national team. The youngster made his maiden appearance in March. Barca, for their part, will be patiently waiting for the January window when the club would be in contention or in position to register the player and make him part of the first team. So it remains to be seen how Xavi plans to utilize the qualities of the teenage sensation, but the player is likely to support Lewandowski in the Barca front line. Alternatively, the Brazilian can operate out wide and offer support from the flanks, though he is much more lethal in central role. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.